And at one stage, the Grand Medical College was ranked higher than Calcutta and Madras. In this hospital, Bhau Daji and his brother are treating more patients than all the English physicians in Bombay combined together. People have undergone tremendous amount of hardships. Shouldn't we at least know about them and respect them and honor them for it?
Sir, you have done a lot of research in ethics. At the same time, you have done a lot of research in the history also, and especially our beloved Grant Medical College. So I would like to know how the college was founded.
We had a governor in Bombay. At that time, all the governors were British governors. I'm talking of the 1820s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And we had a governor called Mount Stuart Elphinstone, after whom the Elphinstone College is named. Not Elphinstone Road, that was his nephew. This was in 1822, 1823, somewhere around that time. In London, there was the board of directors of the East India Company. And it was the East India Company which was ruling India from Calcutta. Calcutta was the headquarters. The board of governors over there had a gentleman by the surname of Grant. He was the father of Robert Grant, after whom the Grand Medical College is named, his father. So his father put a condition in the functioning of the East India Company that the East India Company must spend so much money. And it was, for those days, a considerable amount of money, in educating Indians, which up to that time was not considered a function of the East India Company. They were a trading company. They were there to make profit. They were not here to improve the lot of Indians. But Grant made it a condition that you will spend so much money every year on educating Indians. And so Calcutta set up the first medical school. The very first medical school in India was set up in Calcutta. As soon as Mount Stuart Elphinstone learned that Grant has made this condition and Calcutta has already set up a medical school, he said, we must have a medical school in Bombay also.
During what time, sir? This Calcutta school, when did it start?
I think 1822, 23, something around that, somewhere around that.
Okay.
A little before the Bombay Medical School started, by Elphinstone. So they started the school. Now what did the school consist of? It consisted of one teacher. His name was John McLennan. This one teacher had one munshi. Munshi means clerk, and two peons. This was the school, medical school. One physician, one munshi, and two peons. Now, because in Calcutta, education was in the regional language, Bengali, they said here it has to be in Marathi or Gujarati. These were the two main languages in this Bombay Presidency. Remember, at that time, the governor was the governor of Bombay Presidency. Bombay Presidency was parts of Pakistan, the whole of Maharashtra, a large chunk of Karnataka. All this was Bombay Presidency. This guy, the governor of that. Powerful person, politically. So they decided that they will have medical education in Marathi and Gujarati. But there are no books. So how is the student going to learn? So the government told McLennan, in addition to teaching students, you will translate books which you will get from England into Marathi. Now imagine, one man had to teach medicine, meaning he had to start with anatomy, physiology, materia. At that time they called it materia medica. What we call pharmacology was materia medica. All this he had to treat. Plus he had to translate English books into Marathi so that the boys could read. And there was no criterion for who is eligible for admission. Whoever wants to come can come. So even raw children who had no concept of education, because it was all free, they came. Now this made life very difficult, and there was no hospital attached. So he was supposed to teach medicine with all these handicaps plus no patients, and he's supposed to teach medicine. So he kept on begging officially to the government, please give me a hospital where I can take these guys and show them patients. And there was something called the Native General Hospital near what is Metro Cinema today. In that area, there was a Native General Hospital. He said, give me access to this Native General, so I can at least take them there. I can understand you don't want them to see white patients, but at least let them see native patients. No. So after about 4 or 5 years of this kind of thing, nothing emerged from the hospital by way of a good working physician who could be of any help to society. The idea of this school was that we will produce Indian doctors who will look after Indian patients. But it was not possible with these circumstances. So after about 4 or 5 years, an analysis was made of the functioning of this institution, and it was decided that this institution was non-functional and should be closed down. So it was closed down. Finished. End of medical school. Then Sir Robert Grant was appointed as governor. And when he was appointed, one of the first decisions he made was there must be a medical school where medicine is taught to Indians. The moment he said this, everybody pounced on him. We've already tried that. It has failed. Indians are incapable of learning medicine. Forget it. Yeah, don't waste your time and energy on this. But he had a very, very able physician of his own, because he was the governor, he was entitled to a personal physician. That physician's name was Charles Morehead. So Charles Morehead was his personal physician. So the two of them worked on this project. The first thing they did was to go through all the records of the medical school, from beginning to end. Then they found all the deficiencies in the medical school, which McLennan had already pointed out, but which the authority did not bother to obey or follow or improve. And then they created a project that we need a medical college, not a medical school. Education has to be in English. Minimum matriculation qualification is required before a student can come in. Okay, and so on. And the standard of education should be at least as good as it is in England or in Europe. It has to be. You can't expect second-rate and third-rate clinicians because they're going to treat Indians. They have to be first-rate physicians. So all this plan was formulated, and they had a lot of opposition. But they overcame all that opposition. Finally, there was opposition. The governor never functioned in isolation. There was something, his title was Governor in Council. That means he had a council of people helping him. The council consisted of the general of the Bombay army. Each province, each presidency had its own army. Bengal army, Bombay army, Madras army. There were 3 presidencies at that time. So the general of the Bombay army, and there were 3 or 4 civil officials, and Robert Grant as the head chief. But he could not dictate anything. Everybody had to agree. Only then he could do what he was proposing. Most times they agreed because he was, after all, the boss. But sometimes some of them disagreed. So one of them disagreed. He's saying, look, you are saying all this is going to involve so much expenditure for the government, and we have already tried this, it has failed. Why are you going into all this again? So he has written some minutes, Robert Grant, and those minutes are available to us. And they are heart-rending minutes, heart-rending, coming right from his own heart, you know. He says, if this is what we are going to do, and if this is how we are going to behave, are we human beings? There are people who are dying and they are suffering, there are epidemics, and there is no physician available to look after them. They carried out a survey. What is medical practice in the province presidency of Bombay? And they collected statistics. They sent a questionnaire to civil servants, to enlightened native individuals, to principals of schools, to vaccinators. They used to have something called vaccinators for smallpox. They sent questionnaires to all these guys, detailed questionnaire. Questionnaire is available, answers are available to us. Even today you can go and read them in the Department of Archives in Elphinstone College. They tabulated all these things and they used this evidence and they said, look, this is what is happening in this presidency. You want this to continue? Or you want somebody who, you want to generate a whole cadre of Indians who can go out and treat these people as full-fledged doctors, not as second-rate and third-rate doctors. Finally, his council agreed. Now, council agreed doesn't mean empty. It has now to go to Calcutta. Calcutta has to agree. Calcutta eventually agreed. That is not enough. It has to go to England and England has to agree because this means recurring expenditure. Recurring expense means you need sanction from London. So it went to London. And as all this process was going on, there is a minute written by Sir Robert Grant. They used to write what are called minutes. Minutes were official notes which they wrote. He wrote a minute telling his colleagues that, look, I'm harassing you, I'm pushing you, what is happening, because you know in this country everything is uncertain. And I want this thing to be resolved quickly so that we can start. He wrote this and then he went to the summer capital of Bombay, which at that time was a place called Dapuri, which is near Pune. And there he had a stroke and he died. The papers were between Calcutta and London. And he died. So he never saw his college. He never saw it. Now, before sending those papers off, he said, look, one of the big problems was that McLennan had no hospital. We have to plan for a hospital. So he started looking around and he spread the word around that we have to plan a hospital. So Jamsetji Jijiboy heard of it and he came and said, I'll give you the hospital. I'll give you the entire hospital, don't worry. You are working for us, I'm willing to give you this. Yeah. So with this proposal, Jamsetji's proposal that I will give you the whole hospital as you have planned it, his case was strengthened. Therefore, he sent it to Calcutta and it went to London. He died and a note came from London sanction. So that's the genesis of the Grand Medical College and the JJ Hospital.